Hi guys, I wanted to evolve this scene a little bit more, or this particular section of the chalkboard from the iPad Go 2 video. Now I think this is Lunar 7, whether that's the 17th, which is today, at the moment it's 4 minutes past 5 over here in the UK, or whether that's the Lunar 17th, which is the 27th, remains to be seen, but I do think it's in August, considering we've got both saying August in this video. Now I think the LTM stands for capital cities, as well as interpreting as a date when you turn it sideways, which would be the 17th of August 2018, with the 17 being the 17 being backwards, the H representing the 8th letter of the alphabet, and the R representing the 18th letter of the alphabet. So again, that could be today, or that could be on the 27th of July. So I think they stand for capital cities, which would be, in my opinion, London, Tokyo, New York. But as I pointed out in the previous video, it could also interpret as Hawaii when it's sideways as a H. Obviously Hawaii isn't a capital city, but Honolulu is, and that's obviously in Hawaii, so you can cover it in both ways in that respect. The last one, New York, I just think that's a solid interpretation. It's got connections to the first 9/11. If the date interpretation is correct, then it could also interpret as second 9/11, and I just think that's right. But there's also another interpretation which was pointed out by John, I believe it was, a subscriber on my channel. It could be Tel Aviv, which I agree it could be, because JK Bugger also pointed out that this could be interpreted as an I, which could be Israel. So what I think this is showing is a 3 different days with different locations for potential events. So the first one being London, as I said, either today or the 27th, something to do with, I think, a tsunami, being underwater in some way. There's dual reasonings for that. If you take out London first, obviously London is one of America's allies. We heavily police the English Channel and are always chasing away and following Russian submarines. Should a tsunami approach the west coast of the United Kingdom, it's likely that the Navy, Royal Navy, would pull away from that. As good as, these ships are built these days, none of them can stand up to Mother Nature and a tsunami. So most likely they would retreat to a point of safety, which would leave the English Channel vulnerable to some aspects, in terms of maybe submarines could slip through at that point into the Atlantic Ocean and slowly make their way towards the east coast of the United States. As has been interpreted by a lot of people on YouTube, it seems like a submarine attack is on the cards for the east coast of the United States. Florida, that's been shown by Russia, Vladimir Putin with the propaganda video, and obviously New York shown in multiple movies, and obviously the place of the first 9/11. So if that's the 17th or 27th, my next interpretation is that 4 days later, on the 21st or the 31st, is when we get the combination of Tokyo, Hawaii or Honolulu, and possibly Israel, Tel Aviv. What's happening there? Well, I've already talked about what I think is happening with Hawaii. Involves the Kilauea volcano, possibly nuclear detonation there. Interestingly enough, I pointed out the other day, NASA is sending a submarine to the bottom of the ocean around Hawaii. So, we don't know really what's going on there, even though they tell us it's, ecological surveys and whatnot. Can we trust them? In my opinion, no. Others of you may think differently about that. But looking at the map, if Hawaii is affected, say a nuclear detonation sets off the volcano, or the volcano itself in some way, obviously that will be connected to an earthquake, possibly a landslide, and possibly a tsunami as well. If a tsunami is generated from Hawaii, it's not only going to affect the west coast, which is like California area, it's also going to affect all the islands in the Pacific Ocean, which includes Guam. That's important because Hawaii and Guam both act as military bases for the United States. easier to reach places like China in the event that they needed to. If those islands were gone, it means that in order for the United States to get military across to Asia, they'd have to either make the Navy trip all the way across the ocean or fly all the way across the ocean, which obviously is not a viable option. You also got the Marshall Islands in the Pacific Ocean, so obviously this is a hypothetical scenario, but a tsunami generated from Hawaii would have a severe detrimental effect to the United States military bases in the Pacific Ocean, and that would give a big advantage to China, North Korea, especially if they wanted to attack, say, South Korea and Japan. Backup is not going to be so easily or readily available. At the same time, you've got the Pacific Tsunami Warning Center in Hawaii. If that's gone, it's very difficult to know how a warning would reach the residents on the West Coast in time. So you've got that to worry about as well. In respect to, so that was Honolulu and Tokyo. In respect to Israel, I think we've already covered what's going on there as well. I think on the same day this is happening, Iran will move out to block the Straits of Hormuz, and obviously that will then involve Israel. I think another tsunami is going to be used. I think multiple tsunamis are going to be used. As we've seen a propaganda video from Iran showing a tsunami wiping out what looks like US Navy in the area. So it could be that after that, the Air Force is used, or Israel uses its Air Force to attack Iran. And obviously from that, Iran launches its own attack. In that situation, it looks like there's, from the iPad Go video, I'm not bringing it up, it looks like there's a casualty with maybe children affected, possibly a mosque affected, considering the Middle East is incredibly religious, even though they're split into different factions like Shia and Shia. I think something like an attack on a mosque by a country like Israel would galvanize those countries. Places like Qatar, even Saudi Arabia, Turkey, they may switch allegiances, or at least not prevent Iran from launching an attack on Israel. And obviously we've got the issues with Turkey at the moment with their currency over the US pastor that they won't release there. Obviously sanctions have been placed on Turkey. Turkey have retaliated, but they're also looking for alternative options, and they've got those options with people like Russia, Iran, China even. So a lot to watch there in terms of what could potentially come out of there. This is all obviously, again, hypothetical scenarios, but as you can see, it's like a kind of chain events, things happening in the Middle East, things happening on the other side as well. So that brings you to the last one, the last letter, which is the letter N, and obviously I think that just stands for New York, and obviously that is where the first 9/11 took place, and a potential location for something to happen, maybe in Manhattan, as has been referenced before. The other important thing about these three, if they are London, Tokyo, and New York, is they are the three capitals where we have the three biggest stock exchanges. So the New York Stock Exchange is also home to the Nasdaq, the London Stock Exchange, and the Japan Exchange. Those are like the top four, if you count Nasdaq and the New York Stock Exchange as one, both being in New York, London, and Japan, Tokyo. So if things have affected these three capitals, it's clear that the financial system would be severely affected, and that may be where we're seeing the stock markets crash. It's all kind of linked in, and again, I don't know if that's all going to actually take place, but it's cohesive. It runs in a timeline. It makes kind of sense. London maybe 1727, Tokyo, Hawaii, Tel Aviv, maybe Israel on the 21st or 31st, and then in my interpretation, New York on the 2nd of September or the 23rd of September. Sorry, the 23rd of August or the 2nd of September. Don't know why I did that wrong. But there's my kind of extended evaluation of the analysis that I did on this LTN yesterday. Stock exchanges linked into those three capitals, and I think this one in the middle is because of the way they've done it. It does, and they've, as JK pointed out a long time ago, that they've emphasized this one with the bolder underline here, which does suggest that it has multiple meaning. And I think that is Tokyo, Tel Aviv, Hawaii, a multiple interpretation there. So you guys have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and may the Heavenly Father bless you.